Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Margie McGee, and with me, as always, is my dear friend and co host.
Hello, everyone. I am Ramona Ramirez. Margie, as usual, you fill my heart with joy and gratitude, and I don't know how I would get through this life without you, and nor am I interested in doing that. So,
Same. Oh my God.
yeah.
You are
hmm
my therapeutic dose.
You are my therapeutic dose, dude. Seriously.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh
Y'all,
God.
get yourself a friend like Margie. Get
I
yourself a
mean,
friend like Margie, honestly.
get yourself a
Honestly.
Ramona. I mean, and
Oh,
again, it's built up over 20 years of
yeah.
more than 20 years of
More than
knowing each
20
other.
years. Yeah.
Yeah.
What, 1999,
2000.
2000? Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
24 years. Whoo!
Oh my God.
That's a long
23 and a
ass
half
time.
because I moved
23 and
in
a half.
September. So 23 and a
There
half.
you go. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You might have seen us if you were in LA and frequented the Starbucks with the world's worst fucking parking lot. Where was that Starbucks again?
Western and
Oh God, it
Hollywood.
was Western. That's right.
I don't even
Nothing
know if
good's
it's
on
there
Western.
anymore. No, nothing good is on Western.
I mean, maybe once you get to Koreatown, but like, you know, if you know, you know. I don't even
hmm
know if that building is still there. It looked run down back then.
I think the building is still there. I don't know if Starbucks is. All I remember is that we would meet to do work of some kind, and we would just spend the whole time talking about Scientologists because
Oh my
remember they
God.
kept coming in to get
Yeah.
coffees and recruit people,
Yes.
and we were
Yes.
like, no, thank you, not for us.
I I mean, in my imperfect attempt to be a good, accepting person, I reserve the right to judge them because I just have no tolerance. Margie's going to be like, she's going to be a lot more open-minded about them
I'm
than
just
me,
gonna
but
amend it by saying judge the
please.
institution.
Yes.
The minions who were coming in to get their coffees were just, they're people just vulnerable as you and I were
You're
at that
right.
age. And somebody got to
Fucking,
them and
you're
they didn't
right.
have a friend with them to reason it out with. So they were like, sure,
Margie,
this is good.
yes.
But
Your
David
perspective.
Miscavige can,
Yeah.
go to hell. Oh
They're
God, he's gonna
they're
and Danny
oh
Masterson,
fuck
like
him.
nobody who is in that religion is like doing great.
Yeah. Yeah. No, like, yeah, you're right. They're predatory as fuck. But like, I would be in the Vons on Sunset and Vermont, and they'd be in their like navy blue pants and their light blue button down with a little weird. I was all of a sudden, I was like, what's up with these people in the matching eagle belts? And then all of a sudden, I was all, whoa, they're Scientologists. And I would just give them the dirtiest looks. What a fucking asshole I was.
I'm sure they're trained to receive those looks. And do you remember when, I don't even know if it's true, but somebody at some point told me that the Arclight was run by
Yeah,
Scientologists?
I probably told you
You
that.
probably did. And I just wouldn't have it because I love that place so much. I was just like,
Me
no, I
too.
reject that truth and I'm going to keep going
I know.
and I'm a member and forget about it.
Oh, yeah.
But
Oh,
it
my
does,
God.
once you planted that seed, then you look around that place and everything is kind of like spacey and
Right.
like waiting for L.
Spacey.
Ron
And
Hubbard. And I was like, oh no.
that, Margie and I used to have dates at Arclight. And like, there was nothing like walking into Arclight on a bustling Friday or Saturday night. They made a killer fucking burger. They had a great wine list. You were out. It was a beautiful theater. I craved Arclight. Like, it made me happy to be in Angelino. I wasn't going to see a movie anywhere else. You know, at that point, no other good movie theaters were around, I don't think.
No.
And it was like a fucking event. At least for me, it was an event,
I
and
loved
it
it.
was just
Parking
me
was
too.
easy. I loved the little
Man,
patio area. Like everything about that place was just
everything,
so special.
everything.
But it's, of its
RIP,
time. I
man.
know. But it is like a real Los Angeles grief spot for me. I'm like, I
Yeah.
really miss
Oh,
everything that place meant to me.
me too. Like when I
Friend
see
dates and
B-roll,
date dates and like all of the
totally.
memories
All, yeah, date dates,
centered.
friend dates.
hmm
I saw 28 Days Later, and I remember Lily Sobieski was sitting right next to me, and we were both freaked the fuck out. Because that movie was legit terrifying. I can't wait for I think I think it's 28 years later. I know Cillian Murphy is going to be in it. Uh, anyway, so there was just nothing like being in a room full of other diehard movie fans because people that went to ArcLight were diehard movie fans, it felt like.
Or even
And
if
they
it
took,
wasn't a full room, like I used to go on Sunday mornings and I remember and most of the movies were in the Dome on Sunday mornings. I saw it there at like 9 a.m. because I'm scared and I didn't want to go at
oh,
night. And I saw Life of Pi there with like two other people in that giant theater. But
yeah,
it was so, but again, at that time, we didn't have the option. It was either the Arclight or Blockbuster. We didn't have the option of like streaming
right.
services. You can't watch anything at home. So if you wanted to
No,
see a movie
yeah.
and you didn't have
We
other
had to
time, you had to
wait
go
for
on
our
Sunday
DVD to
morning.
get there.
Yeah,
To wait
exactly.
for our fucking DVD, you had to return your shit. Man, when Netflix would send me the wrong DVD and then I had to wait again to like get the right one, and they were like, shrug emoji. Sorry, we'll
Hmm.
send it to you. I'm all, fuck you. The movie you sent me is based on a video game. I am not interested. Anyway, that is neither here nor there. And if you are younger than Gen X, I don't know. I hope you went to the bathroom during that segment or just
No, it was
hit the
around for
fucking fast
millennials, and
forward.
everyone should know the history of the city. It was an
Yes.
important part of our
I
city.
mean, my parents went to the Cinerama Dome when they were first like married and stuff because they both grew up in LA. It's
I
an
mean,
institution.
and the amount of like celebrities you would run
Oh my
into there
God.
just casually hanging
Yes,
out in the middle of that giant ass
totally.
lobby. It was
I remember I came out from seeing a movie and I ran into you and I was like, oh my God, this is the best.
it was
Yeah.
yeah, it was yeah. I loved it. I'm glad I lived here while it was in its heyday and
Oh my
got to
God,
take
me
advantage of it.
too. Me too. I can
It was
taste
great.
that burger, dude. I can taste it. And I can taste my fucking Cabernet. Loved it. Love that place.
So good.
Welcome to a walk down Hollywood Boulevard, memory lane. Hollywood
Yeah,
Boulevard, Sunset, Hollywood,
Hollywood.
Sunset. Okay.
Between the two? Sunset.
Fuck, I feel real bad.
It's on
I feel
Sunset.
bad. Someone revoke my LA
No, it's on
card.
Hollywood. I don't fucking
It
know.
is,
How do I not know? Isn't Hollywood
I
and
don't
Vine right
know.
across the street? So that would be Hollywood, right?
Yes, you're
Okay.
right. Thank you. Yes, you're right. And if you keep going down, we're going to hit that Hollywood and Highland bullshit. Did you watch the Oscars?
I did.
What did you think?
I loved it.
I
I
did
hadn't
too.
loved an award show in a really long time. I always loved the
So long.
Grammys, but like I couldn't care less for years now. So I turned it on with the intention of not really watching, just having like noise. Well, I did other shit and I wound up like loving it. There were a couple speeches that blew my damn mind
Oh my God.
that were like little
Totally.
sermons, like the Divine Joy Randolph.
Mm.
I wrote her a little quote down. She said, I've always wanted to be different, but now I realize that I just need to be myself. Thank you
Oh
for
my God.
seeing me. And I was like, pew, pew,
I
like
welled up and I
immediately
literally,
sobbing.
yeah, my throat just caught right now. Yes, yes, yes.
And
It
Cord
was,
Jefferson winning and saying like,
oh my
hey, why
God.
don't you give like $1 million to 40 movie makers? Why don't we support artists and enjoy and trust them and give them cash, guys? I was like, it'll never happen, but thank you for planting the seed, sir.
Right?
He was one,
And
and I loved him that he's like,
yeah,
these people took a chance on a 42-year-old black man with no experience. Mind you, he had plenty of experience. It's one of those like, it happened overnight over the course of like 20 years, but
exactly. Which is, yeah.
he's
That movie too,
exceptional.
American Fiction, was a resplendent film. If anyone hasn't seen it, where did we stream it? Did we stream it on HBO Max or whatever they call it now? Max. Anyway, it was on one of the streamers, and fantastic acting, fantastic writing, fantastic directing, just a fantastic story.
I haven't seen it yet, but the writing
Anyway,
looks incredible.
it's incredible. It's
And he
really
was
just so good.
yeah, I want to do everything in the world to support that man. He was so,
Hmm.
he's everything I ache for Hollywood to be.
Totally.
Just
Totally.
like
Oh God,
honest and
yes.
true to himself and generous. And it's
It
possible. Look at that.
it yeah, it is possible. And it felt very, there were a lot of moments that felt very grassroots. It felt very little and authentic, and then Oppenheimer swept a bunch of shit, but like, you know, the score, the best original score for American Fiction was nominated, and that music was so good. Oh my God, that music was so good. So anyway, I guess that's all
I
are we
loved it.
avoiding talking about it?
Yeah,
Are we
because I'm
avoiding
bored.
talking about the
But I do want
reunion?
to mention one more thing, which was,
Please,
oh God,
please.
which Ryan is it? Is it Reynolds or Gosling? Anyways, Ryan Gosling is Ken, right?
Yeah,
I just thought
he's the superior Ryan.
I thought his
IMHO.
performance was amazing. It
It was
was
amazing.
campy and unapologetic and honest and live singing. And I don't think the Oscars has seen anything that good in decades. Like, I just thought he was fantastic,
I don't
especially in the
either.
wake of Barbie being like so snubbed. And he was just like, you know what? I'm just going to give you a fucking great performance, guys. What could Oppenheimer do?
Yeah.
Sad slow dancing to bombs going off. No, here's this.
The Native American drum and vocal circle, I legit sobbed, and I looked at Josh and I'm like, I don't think you understand how fucking profound this moment on television is.
Because it
I
wasn't
don't think you get
actors.
it.
It was authentic
Right.
Native American performers. It
And
wasn't
they
hired.
were taking center stage, which, you know, in the past, I don't know how people saw it. I hope they weren't looking at it through a lens of like, oh, look at this exotic taste into another culture. Like I really hope that people took it seriously. I sobbed. I texted my sister. I'm like, bruh. She's like, I know. Like we both really understood the significance of that. And I'm really glad that that was included in that program.
I mean, it was arresting. Like, I don't know how you
Arresting.
could just be like, oh, that was cute. Cause it like, I don't even know what happened in the course of it, but I was just like breathless. And then it was over. And I was like, what just happened to me?
Yeah.
Something has changed.
Something spiritual happened.
It's true.
Something ancient happened.
Yeah.
And something rich
And
in
primal
tradition.
and like,
Something
yeah.
passed on from generation to generation to generation. Like that song wasn't new, that, yeah. It was
loved
a
it.
really good show. It was a really good show. And
I
I
thought
know,
so too.
I don't know how people feel about Jimmy Kimmel. I know that, when he and Adam Carolla first came on the scene and they had that, what was that show called
The Man
again?
Show.
The Man Show. Like,
God bless. But they were teenagers.
I feel like Jimmy Kimmel has come a far way from that.
And by the way, TikTok is the Man Show. It's just a bunch of Jimmy. It's just bouncing boobs in every direction. It's like, you can call it dance talk all you want, but it's just like, but it's fine. But yeah, no, I think they've both matured, and I think
Adam Carolla is an evil, toxic piece of shit now.
I shouldn't say that. I haven't.
My God.
Oh, oopsies. I haven't heard from him since he left Loveline like 30 years ago.
Oh no, like his. I used to listen to what was his podcast called? The Adam Carolla Show. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is like years and years ago when it first came out. He has been fucking red pilled. Like he's full MAGA, full Joe Rogan. He and his God, what was his wife's name? Not Lenore. It was something with an L. Lynette. He and Lynette got divorced.
Mm.
He's like, I don't even know if he and Kimmel are friends anymore. Because
it doesn't sound like they could be, because Jimmy Kimmel weeps in his monologues about the state of democracy. So it sounds
healthcare.
like that's what I mean. It's like that's of our government not doing what it needs to do to take care of its citizens. And it sounds like if Adam Carolla's been red pilled, that's a hard friendship to maintain, especially these days when it's so urgent and heightened, all of that need. And yeah. But I think Jimmy Kimmel's a really good host. I don't know.
I do too. I think he's funny. I think Molly McNerney is funny. And I don't know if she wrote or if she just EP'd, but like
I think both.
The writers were funny. And that was a real tweet that he read, right?
Yes.
Did Trump really tweet that? What the fuck? Or whatever he did. Truth Socialed it.
I loved Isn't It Past Your Jail Time? I was like, ha ha.
I know.
Like, so clever.
Why would you come for Jimmy Kimmel when literally his job night after night is to poke fun at what a fucking idiot you are?
But the great part about it is, and why it's easy to laugh at, is neither one of them affects the other. Jimmy Kimmel could care less what Trump thinks about his hosting job, and Trump could give a shit what so they're both just like, shrug, good night. And it kind of makes it easier to laugh.
Elite Californian.
Oh God.
Fuck you. God, it's just so, it's hilarious. But yes, I enjoyed them too. Anyway, I have a feeling they're going to be, I think that award show is going to be nominated for an Emmy. I think it's going to be nominated for an Emmy.
It should be.
I do. Yeah.
I mean, it held my attention, and that is hard to do on a Sunday night. And I really enjoyed all of it. So
I did too. I
hadn't even seen half the movies. I'd seen like Anatomy of a Fall, which is really fucking chilling and good and French and wonderful. And Barbie. And other than that, I was like, but I still wanted to see everything. I loved
I
everyone's
know.
speeches. It was great.
Me too. Me too. I did. I did not like Ariana Grande's dress one little bit.
Somebody online said it looked like a prolapsed butthole, and now that's all I can see.
Oh my God. I only heard cotton candy. Oh, shit.
First comment I read was that it looked like a prolapsed butthole, and they're not wrong. I mean, I don't know. I suppose I haven't ever really seen one, but it looks, if I were to imagine what a cartoon prolapsed butthole is, it is Ariana Grande's Oscar dress.
Ariana Grande's dress.
She's just become a cartoon, literally. Now she's dating one, and she's, she's so wispy and wafy, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But she sounds great. The girl, her voice is phenomenal. No.
No, I don't. I don't know her well enough. I don't know her well enough to know. I don't know her music well enough to know.
And yeah, I mean, maybe, yeah, her music, I like her music, but it's really her voice. She has one of those voices that can do anything, and it appears effortless. And like, I find that like that's a gift.
Yeah.
And I like watching that when people can do things that no matter how much training I had, I could never sing like that. So I like watching people who are just like, sound just moves out of their system without a thought. It's beautiful.
The Billie Eilish song from Barbie. Oh, like I can't not bawl my eyes out whenever I hear it. That little, is she even? Is she still a teenager, or is she actually in her 20s now?
She's either 20 or 21. I mean, she's still a baby, and she's one of those, like, she's a legit old soul. Like, you can't write. If you had asked me to write a song like that when I was 20, I would just be like, it would be about like, dollar beers at the basement bar at college.
Oh,
and she's like speaking to this existential crisis of like what it means to be a woman and what purpose is, and what if it's not reflected back to you? Are you still, it's so beautiful. And that performance in particular, because she'd performed it, I think, at the Golden Globes too. And I was like, that was nice. But this Oscar performance, or maybe it was just the mood I was in, I was like, whoa.
It was.
I love that it's brother and sister.
So good. Yeah. Oh, it was good Oscars. Okay. We can wrap it up and move it on.
I know.
Well, we are. I mean, I guess that was reality TV.
It is.
Yeah. So anyway.
And we're on part 3 of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion.
Dude,
the final part, 90% of it was following Sutton drinking orange juice and getting a ride to the hospital. And the rest of it, there was lots of stuff going on. But like, I think that's why I don't feel this like great need to dive right in. But
it was a nothing burger. Like net, Kyle gave us nothing that she didn't give us during the season, or that we haven't gotten from Page 6, Reddit, whatever. Kathy Hilton is, if people are still charmed by this woman, would you please email me or send us a DM to @A Therapeutic Dose on Instagram, or atherapeuticdose@gmail.com, because I would like to know. I would like to know what is appealing or magnetic about that woman.
Money.
Is that, I mean, but like,
money,
God.
Power, money, property, prestige, baby.
I know, but.
I know, trust me, I'm not defending it.
The trade-off is that, well, we'll get into it.
Well, and we were talking before we started recording about going to the hardware store for milk, which is a phrase in the 12-step rooms, meaning like, there are some people who are incapable of giving to you what you want from them. And in time, you learn not to approach that particular person for a need that they cannot meet. And I was just watching Kyle go to the hardware store for milk with Kathy over and over and over again. And it was just like, it's so, but you don't want to lose a relationship with your sister.
Right.
But Kathy is so limited and, oh God, so controlling and blamey. And it's a lot at the end.
She's so limited. And that, I mean, we saw over and over and over when Kathy and Kyle were interacting. I mean, that duo is what made me want to do this podcast, because watching two adult children of alcoholics without their third sibling / who's also an addict. You know, they make me uncomfortable for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I recognize their patterns because I saw them in my own household.
Yeah, and
I
some of
was
them are
assigned,
still
right,
unresolved in my own life,
exactly,
which is why I get itchy when I watch them
right,
interact. I'm like, don't do
exactly.
that. And then I'm like, oh,
All
you're doing that.
right. Reality TV it's real.
It's a mirror,
There,
man.
it is a mirror. So hashtag and rant. That wasn't really a rant. That was more just like that was just, you know what? That was just telling it like it is. I don't
Ew.
know.
I've never heard you say that before.
Okay,
That's
I'll
hilarious.
erase it. I'm gonna Men
No,
in
I
Black that
love
shit.
telling it like it is. It just sounded like something that like you'd pull the string on like a Western cowgirl doll. She's like, just tell it like it is. Anyways,
Tell it like it is.
still avoiding starting this. Well, we
Yeah,
resume
dude.
with the rumors of Sutton's drinking. This is boring. Sutton, Andy basically says to Sutton and Kyle, where do you go from here? And they both weep a little and say they've missed each other, and then they hug and everything's fine.
Mine.
However, Sutton did say to Kyle in the hug, she said, hold me up so I don't fall. And I was like,
Yeah.
Lord.
Did she mean that metaphorically or did she mean it literally?
I think based on what happens later
Right.
I think she was not doing well. I think, whatever, she was treated for dehydration and exhaustion. And I think she was treated for the effects of alcoholism and anorexia. And I think she stood up and felt
Oh,
lightheaded and asked Kyle, you felt that before, or I shouldn't say to you, I've felt that before.
yeah.
I'm on, a high of back in the day when I could be on a high of starving myself, but you're not
Yeah.
in control of how your body functions. And I'm
Right.
tall, so I'd get lots of head rushes with
Oh my God, so many
my
head rushes.
anorexia efforts.
Yeah.
So nobody's concerned. This was way long ago, 26 years ago since I
Yeah.
have done that. So
Neither one of us have been active in our respective eating disorders for many, many years.
thank God.
Ever. Oh my God, totally. Oof. Oof.
Then it
I had
begins.
the
Oh, sorry, go
I
ahead.
had the note when they were hugging. I literally went wank wank on my notes. Like, I don't need to
This
they're
this
going to fight
reunion
in like 5 minutes as soon as they get back together for season 14.
this
But yeah,
reunion could have easily been two parts. I do not know why we
100%.
dragged it out this long.
Because of Kathy fucking Hilton. That's
But she
why.
didn't even do anything.
She didn't do anything. All she has to do is like teeter in on her. Fuck, she's so lame. I need to know. I need to know. Somebody explain it to me. Hunky Dory was a long ass time ago. And that was funny. And then it was fucking played out real quick. And now I need to know what her value is. And if it's just money, A, I'm fucking naive as hell. B, dude, check yourself.
I mean, it's that whole
You
thing
know?
as my therapist would tell me about some of the toxic people in my life. She would say the good parts are really good and the bad parts are really bad. And I feel like Kathy is quirky and charming until she's racist and awful, you know? So
Homophobic, transphobic, possibly, but yeah, like abusive, like
controlling and judgmental. And yeah, she's just, the box fan is
threatening.
adorable. And then when she calls someone an old F word, it's like, well, now we're done with
Oh
you.
my
The
God.
bad
I
parts are
know. It
really
was
bad.
just so Jesus Christ. Um, I I don't even know. This probably isn't even that important, but calling her the Grande Dame of Beverly Hills, like I guess I knew who Kathy Hilton was the whole time I lived in LA. I mean, obviously we knew the name.
Not to be rude, but I
Obviously,
know who Paris was. I
right.
didn't know who
Same
Kathy
here.
was.
Right,
So like
right, right.
Paris is the grand dame as far
That
as I'm
that was
concerned.
that was in my notes. Like, was she even a big deal before Paris?
No, she just
But
bailed her children out of jail. That's the only time I saw her on Perez
or sent
Hilton.
them to abusive
Right.
boarding
Well, we
schools
didn't
where
know
they were
that back
kidnapped from their
then.
home in the middle of the night. No. And the woman, for all the money she has, um, all right, I'm going to say something controversial. Dorit has better style than Kathy Hilton, and she has way less money. And Dorit has no fucking style. She's not original at all. But Kathy is a hot fucking mess in
She
expensive
is.
clothes.
But that's part of what I find charming about her. It's, money don't buy you class. Like her
Bruh.
clothes, she does not dress her. However, I thought she looked beautiful. Her hair looked
Really?
amazing. I thought her hair looked great. I mean, it's a style for a 30-year-old, but like I thought the blonde was perfect and the styling was really, anyways. And again, I was probably just focusing on like the superficial because I couldn't, her energy freaks me
Oh my
out.
God. Yeah, I don't like that lady. I don't like her
No,
at
she
all. I
scares
don't think she would
me.
like me. I don't care, but I don't like her.
No.
Yeah, the fucking hubris, man. The walking in so late, trotting out in her bag and her shoes like some Timu version of Sophia Petrillo. Like, what is? I don't get it. Yeah,
That was my favorite shot of the night. Her little sparkly kitten heels like shuffling along the asphalt. Like it looked like Muppet legs walking.
it was so weird.
It was weird, but I kind of loved it because it just undermined all of her Grande Dame of Beverly Hillsness. It's like this is just an old
God,
lady who is having trouble walking to the stage. But yes, she was like late because she was taking pictures outside her trailer and she wasn't
I
mic'd up
mean,
and everyone was waiting.
yeah,
And
dude.
that's a
And
power move.
wasn't it dark by the time she got in?
Pitch black.
I mean,
Yes.
so if they filmed this, like, okay, so her Christmas tree was still up. That means they were filming this probably like in the beginning of January. How late? So it gets dark like what, like 4?
Yeah.
So
But I don't even
I
care.
don't
It's just
know.
like if
I
you keep
know.
me after, and it was probably tonnage, like on the heels of being kept waiting by Dorit for 2 hours and then like another wait for another, like who cares really? If it was Morgan Wade, I'd be like, let's wait. But for Kathy Hilton, it's like we know what we're getting
Yeah.
and it ain't much. And all right.
Oh, God. To bring that back to therapy, why Kathy triggers me so much is because her ego is the kind that her behavior activates the part of me. Her lack of humility and her lack of awareness for other people are like two of my biggest triggers. I know that that's not novel. I know it's not unique. I know it's not anything other than just like, well, yeah, like join the fucking human race, Ramona. Everyone feels like that. But just seeing it without, like, I don't think she came in and said, oh, sorry, or, oh, thank you for waiting. She's just like, I'm fucking Kathy Hilton. Deal with it.
Well, and Andy introduced her as such after waiting for her forever. He's like, here
God,
comes the Grand Dame. So why would she? Nobody checks her. She's
get some
always
self
just,
esteem, Andrew.
oh, come
You
on. With
know,
these
you're
women,
right. He doesn't give a shit. You're
he's
right. He doesn't give a
constantly
shit.
courting his talent, and that's his job, and that's fine.
God, I am so fucking naive.
You're not
I am
naive.
so naive to think that he would give a rat's ass.
Sometimes he does, like
With
occasionally,
Dorit,
yeah. But other times and it's inconsistent, so hard to
ugh,
gauge. But Kyle and Kathy are both holding crystals, and Kathy says she's happy to be there to support Kyle. And then Andy asks her, Kathy, have you seen the show this season? And she goes, oh, I watch
oh my
all the
God,
clips. She
dude.
watches the clips. And
Just
then she
like,
watches Watch What Happened Live because it goes by so quick. She just does. She doesn't care. And part of me loves that. She doesn't give a shit about this show. Or no, what were you going to say?
no, I feel like there is a way for her to be honest about things without being such a C word.
Agree. But
You
nobody
know,
raised her and now she's rich. So
you're
she doesn't
right. Oh
have to
my
go to
God.
therapy and learn
Margee,
anything. So
Margee, you're
she's
so
just a fucking
kind.
feral lady in the wild in the hills
She's
of Beverly.
a feral woman that has no financial like restrictions whatsoever,
She can buy
and
her way out of
she can do
anything.
whatever
She
the
can
fuck she
buy her
wants.
friends. She's A-okay.
Damn, maybe she is the Grande Dame of BH. I mean, there is that part though when they move to talking about last year and they flash back to her calling Kyle a martyr. And yeah, that's 100% true. And like I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. I'll probably say it again. Everyone in an alcoholic home is assigned a role. You're the scapegoat, you're the martyr, you're the victim. Um, uh, uh, those are the three that come out to me. But Kyle is the victim and the martyr.
Well, and
And
often when you're not assigned a role, it seems like there's resentment because you don't get to have any of the characteristics of the other roles. So like a lot of responsibility of raising the family falls on the firstborn in an alcoholic home because
right,
nobody's there to raise anybody. So I'm sure Kathy does feel like a parent and she feels entitled to tell Kyle what to do. And I'm sure she resents Kyle for pushing back and Kyle resents Kathy for telling her what to do. And nobody's been in therapy long enough to have grown up yet. So that
doesn't
dynamic
seem
is
like
just
it.
coming out in 50-year-old women. It's like, oh my
Yeah,
Lord.
totally. So I did acknowledge that Kathy broken clocked, like she's right twice a day, and she's right that Kyle is a martyr. But I wonder if Kathy ever, no, she doesn't. She doesn't do that. She doesn't ever look at herself and what her role was,
No,
you know,
no.
in that situation. Dude. Um, do you have anything to add from that? Because I have something to say about Kim when they show that flashback,
Oh,
but
sure. Yeah, no, I just think, yeah, we go into this Kyle and Kathy like rift package of flashback stuff. And it just is, Kyle being fed up with being honestly like verbally abused and manipulated by her older
dude,
sister. And yeah,
dude.
that Kim scene where again Kyle says of Kathy, she gets so mean. I can't handle her meanness. I was just like, ugh, chills.
Yeah,
That's a very
she
particular
does
kind
get
of
mean.
meanness, and it is fucking brutal.
And I don't know that she ever, like, does she ever say she's sorry? I mean, I know that they showed another flashback to when, was it last season? I guess it was last season when they were um, at Kyle's house. It was like one of the last episodes. I think she said she was sorry, but
I think
I
she
just,
did too, but the fact that we're both unclear on whether that happened or
right?
not is
Oh
like
my
not
God, you're
great.
right. Yeah, that's not great. What
It
does that
means that
tell
either it
you?
happened like real fast and dismissively, like, well, I'm sorry for that, which is, probably what it was. But yeah, I don't
Dude,
know. I think it is just like they, yeah, Kathy's not going to change. So Kyle, it
no.
appears, is getting into some acceptance of who she is and how to incorporate her in her life. So
Yeah, yeah. Um, the thing that struck me, and it struck me in the flashback that they showed from last, what, oh no, was it the beginning of this season? When Kim Richards and Kyle Richards are in Kyle's kitchen, and Kim, in my opinion, is rewriting history about their mom. Like, yeah, I bet that she didn't want the three daughters to have strife, but like, let's not pretend that their mom was like this beacon of motherhood, I don't know. It's just always, that scene always just kind of like, it's like, just like nudges me a little bit. Like, that's not accurate. This is not authentic. And maybe I'm wrong. I'm projecting.
I have
Who
no idea.
knows?
I don't know enough about Big Kathy, but it doesn't seem like she was a stable,
No,
loving, like she's not the person who I would be like, yeah, I want to take advice about family from her.
bruh.
So,
Absolutely not.
and it's also that
Absolutely
whole
not.
thing that you react to in the Miami Housewives and Jersey. It's like that notion of like you stand by family no matter what. And it's like, well, but if someone is awful to you or is harming you physically, verbally, emotionally, then actually then you don't stand by them. You have to take care of yourself, and putting yourself in the line of fire of someone who's not going to put the fucking gun down. That's crazy. And you're going to
It's
die.
insane. It's
It's
insane.
crazy.
It's so insane. It's just the most ridiculous notion that because you're related to someone that you have this bond that you can't escape. It's
I mean,
just
I will go to the ends of the earth to try and solve a problem within my family more so than I would in
totally.
any other area of my life. But if someone is uh, incapable of understanding what's harmful and unwilling to change it, then like that it's not good for anyone to
Yeah.
stick around for that. Anyways,
Agreed. Agreed. Oh, do you have anything before the flashback of to Erica Jane saying people fear Kathy, and Kathy's like literally sitting right next to her? It's
just
just,
trying, but also
and
trying too hard to laugh it off. She's like, that's so funny. That's hysterical. Oh my God. I sent
that's
that clip to all
ridiculous.
of my
Yeah.
friends. Can you believe it? It's like
Yeah.
she is so unwilling to look at who she actually is that she's just like yelling it down. The clip is running and she's just getting louder than the clip. So,
I mean, I
okay.
thought it was funny that Erica had to sit next to her while they ran that fucking flashback.
But
It's
I
like,
did,
what do you see? I mean,
and
what do
this
you
was,
say?
I don't know, but it was also weird that Kathy seemed to like kiss Erica's ass in this. She was like, you don't give a fuck. And I was like, Kathy? Like, I don't know. I was just
I wonder if
confused.
she wanted to seem like she was just like,
Cool
oh,
with
I don't care
it.
about this. Yeah, like super lackadaisical.
I bet you're
Yeah.
right.
I don't know. I mean, listen, that woman, I was about to say she's an enigma, not Erica Jane. She's no enigma wrapped in a riddle and cash. That's just so like dumb. She ain't wrapped
Oh,
in cash
right.
no mo.
Forgot about that.
Um, but Kathy Hilton isn't an enigma either. She's just rich and a dick and has no one's gonna call her on her shit, so she can just have carte blanche to just spread her entitlement around, and people are just gonna be like, yes, sir, may I have another, sir? I don't know.
Yeah.
Pass. Not attracted, not magnetized, not compelled at all. Nope.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And to that point, the segment kind of ends with Kyle talking about how she assumes that everyone does keep Kathy in their lives because she has lavish parties and offers access to the rich, famous, and powerful. So
God, I don't know. Like, get a life, y'all.
that is life in Beverly Hills.
I just, I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's just weird to me. I know really rich people. And I'm not trying to sound like fucking Anna Marie right now, too. I'm just saying that, like, I've had friends of friends where I've, been to their house and I know how they got all their money. And these people are very, very humble. And they probably have the same amount of money as the Hiltons, you know? And it's like you would never see them on the street and think, oh my God, they have fuck you money. Like they're just real, normal, humble people that happened to make a lot of money doing their art. That's
I
all.
mean, don't they say that like money just makes you more of who you really are? So some people
Oh,
are just like
shit.
money grubbing, greedy assholes, and some people are wonderful people who wind up with a bunch of money and are quiet about it or are generous with it or all of the above,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, I don't know. What's your next note? Is it Sutton's medical emergency?
I wrote Sutton faints, probably because she's only eaten vodka for months. That's what I wrote. Oh, and Anne
And
Marie
like,
is useless and everyone is tending to her except the nurse in the room.
I mean, Kathy blamed it on perimenopause, essentially. She's like, oh, why are you all worried? What the fuck?
That was crazy. And that,
Yeah.
if you want to know like the self-centeredness of an alcoholic or an untreated Al-Anon, that's it. It's
Yeah.
like she's literally shaking. She's had a fainting spell. And she's like, get over it. You're 49. What do you expect to happen?
I
Like,
know. It was so weird. And
and
then
then, yeah, sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Sutton says, I got scared. And Kathy goes, why? And it's like, did you see what happened? Like Erica says it later. She lost consciousness for a second. Would that not scare you, you psycho? Like she's so
She's,
intolerant and impatient with anyone
yeah.
who takes the spotlight away from her. Yuck.
I mean, and then she and Erica Jane are on their phones, just shooting the shit, shooting the shit. Like, you don't have to shoot the shit. You can sit there and, like, you know, I would have been legit concerned. I probably would have gotten up and been like, hey, can someone bring her a water? Can someone bring her a cheese stick? You know?
I certainly wouldn't start a conversation about Christmas
Oh
decorations. It
my
was
God.
insane.
It was like they were in two different, like, realms.
Same planet, different worlds. Like that
Oh my
was
God.
bonkers.
So, just real quick, everyone who's listening, I meant to say this at the beginning, but like doing this show with the way that we, talk about the intersection of therapy and reality TV, it's a little bit more challenging when you're doing it on a reunion. It always feels harder with a reunion, you know, because it's like everybody's out there. Anyway, just if it, I guess what I'm saying is sometimes I feel like, at least I do this, I feel like I'm talking more shit than I am bringing it back to therapy. But I also am trying to work with what they're giving us, and reunions just don't, I don't know. Am I making sense? It just doesn't
Yeah,
feel like
but
it's a normal.
the whole point of our podcast is like if we're talking shit and inspired to do that, then it means there's things to look at in ourselves, and that's the therapy angle. And, we're both talking about, we are both adult children of alcoholics. I think we
Yep,
say that
yep,
50
yep,
times every episode.
yep, yep,
And
yep, yep,
that's
yep.
this particular show and this particular relationship dynamic between Kathy and Kyle is a lot. It's, if we're talking shit,
Palpable.
we're not talking about them. We're talking about
You're
our
right.
families. We're talking
You're
about
right. You're right.
relationships under our own roofs,
Yeah,
So
that's
they're
true.
just a
Okay.
conduit for what
You're right.
is going on
That
with
makes
us.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. And yeah, you're right. And speaking of that, like I loved seeing Garcelle take care of her friend.
I know.
You
That was
know,
sweet.
that was so sweet and so like, yeah, of course, that's what Garcelle's doing.
Just instantly selfless. Like, I'm going to go with you.
Exactly.
I'm going to go with you to the hospital. I'm just like, you come first. And that was so, and she was, holding the hand fan in the car.
I know, that was
As
so
Sutton's
cute.
like, I don't want to die. And Garcelle's like, you have a lot more people to piss off before you're done here, lady. So calm down.
I don't care if you burn. Yeah, totally. Totally.
They're sweet.
Oh my God. And then sweet to absolutely acidic and sour when Kathy was like, she was going to go after Sutton next and says it was a good way of her getting out of the hot seat. Dude, she's not the dingbat space cadet that she wants us to think and that so many people
monster
bought into after Hunky Dory. Yeah, she is a calculated, stealthy, okay, I don't want to say stealthy because she's not smart enough to be stealthy, but she is a two-faced assassin. Again, sounds way too cool for Kathy Hilton. Asshole? I don't know. Like, she doesn't deserve a cool word like assassin or stealth, but
to me, I was like, it's no wonder she and Erica get along because neither one of them understand the word empathy. Neither one of them.
Wow.
This woman just lay the fuck out on stage in the middle of a reunion taping. This is one of those moments where if you can't say something nice, just don't say anything at all. Save your snark for your trailer app. Like, it's fine to think that, plenty of opportunities to talk about it once you know she's okay. Like, watching it, we all know Sutton's okay, but had I seen that, I would wonder if she was having a stroke or a heart attack, and I would wait to be a bitch about it until I was sure that she was okay. But not
You'd
Kathy.
wait to ask me if my Christmas tree was still up?
I mean, I certainly wouldn't say like, well, that's an easy way to get out of it. Have a stroke and die.
Oh my God.
I was like, Jesus, woman. That's so, what a
fudge
what
factory.
A gross take.
I know.
Fudge factory.
I don't even know why I said that. Erica, Jane, and Crystal say that Kathy is a powerful presence in Beverly Hills. And I just wrote, okay, aim high, like, yay. Like, we have finite amounts of time to leave a lasting impact on the people that we know in our community. Like, here lies Kathy Hilton. I was rich and a dick. Like, is that what she wants to leave? I threw parties that people wanted to go to.
I don't think she gives a shit.
Shitty sister? Yeah, you're right.
As long as she's comfortable.
I have right.
She's fine.
And my problem to work out in therapy is that that still boggles my mind that you would want your epitaph to say that. I don't give a shit. Didn't give a shit. Came, saw, had tons of money, wore shitty clothes anyway, threw parties that people wanted to come to, was a raging asshole. Like,
took everything that anyone was willing to give me and give very little back. Yeah, no, I mean, the only way I can spin it in my brain is like they employ a lot of people. And in a shitty economy, Hilton and Highland employs a lot of people. So
you're absolutely right. They do.
Okay.
They do.
It doesn't make them good people, but it gives good people a place to go to work. So
Mr. Highland and
I
his
can do.
wife, Lori, Mr. Highland was very kind.
Is that true?
I knew him very briefly, yes.
Oh.
I worked for an architecture and interior design firm, very small, and Mr. Highland was a client and friend of the owner, and so we were doing stuff for their house, and they were always so nice. And I was like an assistant. They did not have to be nice to me, but they were always so kind. Yeah. So, I mean, my limited experience with the Highland part of Hilton and Highland was pleasant, very pleasant. Yeah. So
Speaking of kind and pleasant, we see Garcelle sweetly accompanying Sutton to her trailer, later to the hospital. But Sutton asks for something to eat because she's starving and has only had vodka to eat for months. And Garcelle
God.
offers a banana, and she goes, "I already had a banana." And Garcelle goes, "Eat the banana." And Sutton looks her in the eyes as she pulls the top off the like their relationship is so funny to me. They're like a sitcom. They're so cute and sincere, and
Statler
I
and
think
Waldorf.
yes, 100%. Because at this point, I think it's clear Sutton's gonna be okay. But it, but it was hard to watch her shaking, holding the orange juice cup.
Yeah.
But I did love the medic or producer, whoever it was, throwing shade and saying, "Sorry, it's not ruby red," when they handed
Oh
her
my
the orange juice.
God.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I guess she is gonna be okay," and everyone knows it because like that was out of pocket.
That's funny. I didn't hear that.
Oh, it was off camera. Like someone off
Oh,
screen said like, "Sorry, it's not ruby red." And Sutton goes, she sort of gives like dead eyes to wherever the source of that statement was. Yeah.
okay. I don't know. The Mo versus Rick Hilton feud. From what little I know about both of them, like no one's winning in this feud. Not a fucking person's winning. So I don't know who's
I
grosser, but
also, everyone's winning. Everyone's doing
yeah,
great. Why are we
yeah,
stuck on this?
right,
Hilton and Highland is top as a top real estate firm, never has not been. Same with the agency. What is the problem? And why did Mauricio write a book saying like, if they had paid me one iota of what I was worth, fuck you, shut up. Why are
dude.
you mad? Why are you writing about that? Like, or say it in another way of like, I didn't feel like I was getting paid what I was worth. And so I explored other avenues. Why all this like finger pointing, fuck you bullshit? They trained you. You put together the group that you left with. Like, it's not all bad. At this point, we're so
Yeah.
far away from that moment in time. The fact that that everyone's rich and still pissed off about someone quitting a job. What the fuck?
How many years ago? Yeah, go to therapy, you guys. Jesus. Come
Lord.
on. This still causes chaos between those families, between the Umanskis and the Hiltons. You know what?
Yeah.
Not my circus, not my monkey. Is that
Yeah.
it? Not my circus, not my monkey. I mean, on this podcast, I guess it is my monkey,
Monkeys.
but monkeys, yes.
So many. And then we do another wellness check on Sutton where someone is searching for crackers for her. And now all of a sudden she's nauseous and sleepy. And Andy reports to the group that they're going to take her to the hospital out of an abundance of caution. And then they dig through the couch cushions to find Garcelle's phone, Sutton's phone, and Merce's ashes.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, let the Merce go.
I just wrote, wow, Sutton and Garcelle are going to the hospital. And they were like the two people that I wanted to see besides Crystal. And then it's like, I guess I have to deal with these dicks and Crystal. I liked Crystal this season. I'm not going to lie. I really liked her. But that was just me like B&Ming because I did not like anybody on that fucking stage last night after Garcelle and Sutton left.
Yeah.
Ruby Red.
The energy changed a lot and it was a bit of a slog.
It did. It was a slog.
And they get into how Kathy and Kyle reconciled, and it was at Kim's daughter's wedding that they sort of broke the ice. And then Kathy weeps uncontrollably telling the story about how she was in a hair salon with no music on, all alone, and Kyle entered and said hello, and and Kathy said she felt so proud. I was like, what was this a dream? This doesn't sound like a real thing that happened. And was it a salon or like a glam room? Like, what? I'm so lost. Some people are not storytellers. And I will say Kathy Hilton is not a storyteller because I have no idea what the fuck she was talking about and why she was so emotional about it.
I wrote, something happened the day after Kemosabe and the memory made Kathy cry and I'm not interested enough to rewind it.
Boom. Done and done. Moving on.
God, I never want to see Kemosabe or hear about Kemosabe ever again.
Oh my God.
I
Kyle
just really
in a cowboy hat just makes me cringe.
God.
And then we talk about Kyle was worried. She shared on a podcast that she was worried that all of the things that she said in raw moments during the season would harm the work Kathy and she had done to repair their relationship. And Kathy said, well, Kyle warned me, and they all say he did things in the moment, and they're sisters and blah, blah, blah. Great.
Yeah. I mean, that happens,
And then I wrote, and now for some codependent theater. And Kathy says she does not feel like Kyle loves her, or Kathy says she feels like Kyle loves her very, very much. And Kyle says, and that Kathy likes to be needed. And Kyle assures Kathy she needs her and praises Kathy for being there for her. And I was like, you guys, like, whoa. I don't know. It's just Kathy fishing for like, I need to be needed and I need you to love me. And Kyle saying like, of course I love you. And of course I need you. And, just erasing a total erasure of all of the problems that they literally had 4 seconds before talking about Hilton and like, it's just
right.
But that's the complexity of a family relationship. So I shouldn't
Totally.
get up their asses. I was getting whiplash in this section. I was lost.
It's so uncomfortable and hard to, it's like on one hand, I want to pay attention to what they're saying because I watch these shows. Obviously I want to see what's happening. But their behavior is so it's like unreined toxicity. And it's hard to not want to tune them out because I don't want to have that. I worked hard not to buy into that kind of behavior or engage in that kind of behavior, and seeing it, like, it's not entertaining. It makes me creeped out.
Me too. Because
I'm even like, I'm curling my toes right now. Like I'm like curling up because I just want to protect myself from their bad juju,
Well, and it drops me right back into that place of like being the Kyle to a whole bunch of Kathys in my life,
Totally.
where I just like, they tell me how to feel and I tell them they're right because it sounds like they're right in the moment, even though I don't think that's what, it's just that whole Kathy is so, like these leading questions of like, don't you agree, Kyle? Don't you agree I'm more sensitive? And Kyle is like, I don't think so. And like, I know that feeling of like when someone comes so strongly and basically says, this is how you feel, isn't it? And when she said, I can count how many times we've had big fights. Look, I'll hold up she did like a weird magic trick of holding up her fingers weird. And Kyle had to guess the number. She was like 3, I guess. And Kathy's like, that's correct. And even Dorit got in on it then and was like, it is correct. And everyone's so scared of her. And I know what it's like to feel scared of a personality like that. And that is why I hate watching it. Cause like, it's scary.
Totally. Totally. Oh my God. Ooh, yeah, you're right. Ugh. Ew. That's like the wrong thing to quiz someone about, Like, you're like, wait, how many times did our families go to Hawaii together? 5? I think 3. No, there was that one time in 1995. But like, how many big fights have we had?
And it comes with that energy of like, I'll count on one hand how many fights. Like nobody can get a word in because she's like, I'll count on one hand. I'll hide my fingers and it's less than one hand. How many times we had a big fight, Kyle? And she's like, 3. And thank God she got it right. Like it was just.
Yeah, the fact that she had to get it right. Oh my God.
But I don't even believe it's so true. Gross. I think she was just guessing how many fights Kathy thinks they have had. Like it's just, all of it is so just frantic and it's just crazy making for me.
Totally. Yes. And for me. So they roll tape on Kyle and Mauricio's greatest hits through the years, yada, yada. Andy asks what led to this after last season. They seemed so happy. She said, like, life with kids, and he did something to break her trust. She reached a breaking point after trying to make it work for her family's sake, and she said she didn't want to be in this position. Yeah.
I mean, I thought the saddest line in that whole package of the dissolution of their relationship was when Kyle says, the marriage we had is gone. And I was like, oh, but there's so much clarity and fidelity in that. It was just so sad. Because watching back all of the birthday parties and the kisses, like all of that was real. It doesn't negate how real any of that was. It's just they've both changed. And, she later says she's going through some sort of evolution. And there's just, you can't stop that when, your cocoon forms and you have to, turn to goo and then turn to a new butterfly. So,
Yeah. Yep.
anyways,
Man, life is not for the faint of heart. I mean, it could be. Like, you could
just don't
try
do
to
it
escape it all.
alone. Don't do it alone.
Yeah.
Don't stop a life, but don't do it
Yeah.
alone because it's too hard to
Right.
manage these moments in particular that are just so like you can't stop a transition that's happening, but you can't see what's coming next. Those
Mm-mm.
are like the hardest,
Yep.
but they always pass. They
They
always
do.
pass.
They
So,
do. They do.
yeah,
Andy brings up, oh, go ahead. No,
no,
you
you
go.
go, go.
Please, please,
I was
please.
on to
I was just
Dancing
going
with
to,
the Stars.
oh, yeah. I
Did
was
you have
just going
stuff
to
before
say
that?
that, no, just that Andy brings up the, Mauricio's cheating, Us Weekly rumors from, LVP, that whole mishigas that happened all those years ago. And Kyle felt doubt because of the rumors. Like, he could tell her a million times, no, I didn't do this. But, the seeds planted, the seeds planted.
And it's planted over and over and over
Yeah.
again. I think that's the problem. Is like it how would it not erode your trust and like incite insecurity if
Yeah.
just year after year there are credible allegations and like maybe no empirical proof, but like you could believe it,
You could
and
believe it.
it does appear that, and she was saying throughout this that she, they, in their marriage, they swept a lot of issues under the carpet, things that would come up over and over again. And they would just busy themselves with other important things, raising kids and starting businesses and all that stuff. But it sounds like, yeah. And it was interesting that Kathy tried to tell Kyle how to feel. And she's like, well, if Mauricio went on Dancing with the Stars, you wouldn't be jealous. And Kyle was like, I would. That's why I would have said no if we were at any other time in our marriage. Ugh,
I
Kathy.
mean, dealing with stuff is not going to go away because you're like, I don't want to deal with this right now.
No,
Like,
but no.
at some point, it will need to be reckoned with.
Yeah. And I understand the
know?
instinct to want to avoid it and just hope
Yeah.
if you don't look at it, it goes away. But
Yeah.
the important things
Yeah.
rarely do.
No, they don't. I felt like Andy, while I'm glad he did this, because had he not, I would have been real pissed that he like didn't go for Kyle the same way he's gone for other housewives, But he was like fully sweeping the leg, dude. Like, Kyle was fucking Ralph Macchio and Cobra Kai before he had his metamorphosis. Like, he was like, sweep that leg. Pics of him with, an Aspen with the Instagram models, and dude. So they were still living together while he was doing that.
They are, to this day, they are, which is just so fucking absurd to me. There are no richer people on the face of the planet and nobody who has more access to housing in Los Angeles. And yet he's like, oh, I can't find a place to move. Really? Oh, really? Okay. Maybe
So
he's hoping
dumb.
it'll work out, but I don't know. But yeah, no, and Kyle, to her credit, answered honestly. Andy asked about how she felt about that weird, gross, sexy performance that he dedicated to Kyle on Dancing with the Stars. And she said that was hard to watch. And he asked about the tabloid pictures of him holding hands with that dance partner. And she was like, that did not feel good. And then, yeah, but she's, with the 20-year-old influencers like partying in Aspen. She was like, we're living under the same roof. So I don't know what he's doing. I don't love it.
I don't want to trade places with Kyle Richards.
Not right now.
Fuck to the no. Nope.
Oh, but I did write this, and I think I wrote it in bold because I was like, Ramona might appreciate this. So she's saying that they're living under the same roof, so she doesn't love what he's doing and how public it is. And I wrote, but she's all over the place with Morgan. So stones, glass houses.
I mean,
Like,
yeah.
where is she? She's posting pictures of them sitting on laps on a private plane. Like, I guess why is Mauricio so in the wrong?
Posing like a schoolgirl at the tattoo parlor with her little legs kicked up. Like,
yeah. I mean, they're both doing it. So like,
yeah.
I mean, I guess it's fair that two things can be true. Like, it can hurt her to see him like that. And she can also be doing the exact same thing. So this is them working their way out, I guess.
Oof, yes. I mean, yeah. Man.
This next moment is the one that leveled my ass. The Kathy essentially blaming Kyle
Yeah.
for the marriage falling apart. She said, well, when you're not doing Housewives, she's off traveling and somebody gets a little bit of fame and then they start leading their own life and create distance. And then all of a sudden you have this devastation. And Kathy said, Kyle's been weird for a few years now. And in my head, I was like, oh, weird meaning developing self-esteem, honoring her independence. Is that weird to you, Kathy? Because it's fucking up your
Changing as a
dynamic.
person.
And it's fucking up your dynamic. You can't,
Yeah.
she's traveling and she's living her own life. And you hate that because like you would like Kyle to like be a pet and you can bring her out of the cage when you want to play with her. And she's like, you know, developing some autonomy and it's not going over well.
Cough, cough, PK with his wife that isn't the same
As she was when she was 20.
as she was when they met. And yeah, jeez. Yeah, like people change and evolve, man. It's normal and not weird. And I'd posit if you're not evolving and changing, that's something you need to look at, you know, especially as one approaches midlife, you know, shit gets real. You face your mortality. You know that it's closer than it was in your 40s. That mortality seemed like a far off concept in my 20s and my 30s. You know,
that's a word back then.
That's when I thought like 40 or 45 was old. And now I'm like, oh shit. You know? Anyway. Yeah, you're right. This reunion's giving. You're right. You're absolutely right.
I mean, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's the Kyle Kathy relationship that always just, you know, shows me that I have more to work on because, yeah, I just really thought that was so gross. Kathy just saying like, well, you should be a better wife and you shouldn't have traveled. And all of a sudden, I don't think there was 28 years of great marriage. And then one day Kyle took a trip and it was
I know,
he was cheating
like
the whole time.
Oh, wow. You think so?
I think so. And I think she didn't want to know. And then one day something happened and she knew for sure. And that was the thing that broke her trust. And once you know, it's hard to not backtrack and think of all the other times like, oof, did it happen? And it doesn't even matter at that point if it did or it didn't. It's decades of questions and insecurity. And I think you're right. Kyle's hit middle age and she's at a point where like she's sick of feeling insecure.
Yeah.
So like either you show up for me and you make me secure or we got to end this marriage because like I can't do this. Ugh, heartbreaking.
God. Yeah. She says that there's no progress. Like he's not making the changes that she needs him to make in order for them to salvage their marriage. So divorce is imminent. Oof.
Yeah. That was sad to watch
It
her
was
cry
sad.
about that they're not willing to say the word yet. It's a powerful one and it's heartbreaking no matter who it
28
is.
years. That's a fucking lifetime.
Any amount of time. Divorce is just, it's a trauma. It's just.
Yeah.
But it appears like for both of them, it will be the best thing. It does seem like this relationship is not functional anymore. So, and then we head into the Morgan Wade affair because everyone's obsessed with Kyle's potential lesbian chapter. And this is where Kyle lost me again. I was so on her side. And then she's like, well, Morgan hadn't watched the show and was uncomfortable with all the tabloid attention. And I was like, but she was dating the star of the show since it started. Why did you bring her on? You knew what was going to happen. Like, what the fuck? I just can't. And part of me is like, well, Morgan's like 25 or whatever. So maybe she hasn't seen the show and really doesn't understand. But she's dating a person who, I don't know. This was where Kyle, I was like, is this true? It feels incomplete at best.
It does feel incomplete because I would posit that, listen, we all know pap walks are a thing. They're a fucking thing. And I don't know, I mean, leaving frozen yogurt, like leaving some random frozen yogurt place. Listen, I'm not going to say that Kyle called the paps on her and Morgan or to let them know, but I'm not saying that they didn't call the paps either.
But even without paparazzi, Kyle's Instagram page is full of her at Morgan's concert, her on Morgan's lap, her and Morgan doing this. It's like,
Yeah.
why did you think this wasn't going to catch some attention? Like,
Yeah.
it was just such a weird,
Don't act naive about it.
Yeah, it felt like a hollow and unnecessary
And
defense. Who cares?
like, that's the weirdest reason to like, yeah, so we were going to subvert all that and make the music video to like, you know, to make a joke out of all the press. And I'm like, that's not the way though, ladies. You want to just ignore it or just try to like fade out of the, I don't know. You don't want to fuel it with
And I call bullshit
Kyle's
on
wannabe
Kyle.
harness.
And Kyle saying like, well, I didn't know
video.
what I haven't, I watched it once and I was just like, this isn't good. It's not hot like everyone said it should be. But Kyle saying that she didn't know what the creative was when she showed up on set. I'm like, bullshit. You guys were best friends. Of course you knew what you were doing. Why are you're making it weird by saying that the lesbian kiss took you by surprise? And, you know, with her weird vocal affectation saying like, I'd never kissed anyone on set, let alone a woman, never kissed a woman on set. Like her voice got so weird when she was saying that.
So she gets bangs and a nose job for Halloween 4 or 5 or whatever she did. Halloween, you know, the next gen or whatever the hell it was. But then she walks onto the set of a video just like a little lamb, like, oh, I don't know what to expect.
But
Lady.
then she did give a little when she said, you know, I accepted it because I was curious. I wouldn't have accepted it if I wasn't curious. And then she said, Morgan's hot. And I was like, okay, well now that's something. And I did love Andy Cohen for saying people were speculating that Morgan was using Kyle for clout, and Kyle was like, "Oh, please, she's a you know musician in her own right." And Andy Cohen said something to the effect of like, "To be fair, you made her a household name, and it's true. I didn't know who the fuck Morgan Wade was until this season." So,
and I like some new country, like Maren Morris, Brandi Carlile, Margot Price.
Brandi Carlile's considered country?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't either. I guess I like country.
I would consider her quasi country.
Interesting.
You know? God, is Chris Stapleton like the one male country singer that seems like he's not totally fucking toxic? And
he sang a great national anthem at the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. It was real good. Mm-hmm. I don't know anything about his politics, but I appreciated his vocals at the Super Bowl.
Mickey, oh God, how do I pronounce her last name? Guyton or Gayton. She's great. God. Yeah, I mean, you don't listen. Who cares? I don't need to go down the country singers that I like, but I mean, it's not all bad. But yeah, I did not know who Morgan Wade was, and I do know who some country singers are that aren't like massive, although the other ones I named off were massive. So never mind. Maybe I don't know.
But
maybe
we do now. That was Andy's point.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're right.
Now her name is, you named a bunch of people who I've never heard of, but I've heard of Morgan Wade. So that's where we're at now.
Me too.
And then Andy asked Kyle if there's anything going on between Kyle and Morgan. And Kyle asks in that way. And it's like, yeah, we're not asking if there's anything going on with her style or like, come on, you ass. And then she pauses for an hour and says like a very unconvincing, no. Okay.
But so lame.
Andy did a nice job because he pressed her. He's like, are you a couple? Do you have feelings for her? Could you see yourself with Morgan? And this is where we got and it felt truthful from Kyle saying she's evolving and changing and she does not know what the future holds. And I think that's probably, I believe that's true. I don't know
that because I think 100% honest.
Yeah. Because I remember on Selling Sunset when Chriselle was so hesitant to talk about her relationship with G-Flip because she was like, I don't know if I'm a lesbian or I don't know what the fuck this is. I just know I want to spend all of my time with her, but this is all brand fucking new, because Chriselle was sure she was on the absolute end of the Kinsey scale. And all of a sudden she's, absolutely fallen in love with someone who isn't what she'd anticipated. And it seems like Kyle's in a similar spot of trying to figure out who she is, what she wants, what this means, if anything.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Merce is resurrected by Andy. I didn't care. No diss to Merce. I just like, did this have to be part of my reunion, I guess? Anne-Marie had a rough ride, and happiness and health are the most important things to her.
She is so boring.
Boo fucking who, bitch.
And also just, could you be more boring? Health and happiness?
Yeah.
Oh my God, thoughts and prayers. Get out.
Yeah,
you're so boring.
She does not know how to relate to other people or to show her humanity unless she's crying because people came for her shit ass hateful politics. So
is that what that what he meant?
I don't know. I don't know if that's what he meant. That's what I mean. Like when she came out last week and was like, I really internalized it. Like, good. Reap what you fucking sow. Reap what you sow. If you're going to support hateful policies, hateful ideologies, cry me a river. I don't give a shit.
Well, and
Go
also,
be tortured.
You're on a reality show. Did you think you were going to be the one person who wasn't going to receive feedback? Like, again, get a therapist. Everybody, get in therapy. Criticism is out there.
Get in therapy.
Yeah. So anyways, health and happiness. Sure. Great. And then these are all the takeaways from the season.
Yeah, these
Andy
are the takeaways. Sorry, I meant to say that.
Circle.
Yes.
And Crystal said she shouldn't be afraid to speak up for herself because her voice matters. And I was like, bleh, fine.
I mean, I, as a viewer, I was happy to see Crystal lend some of her. I appreciate her acerbic sense of humor. And I appreciate her calling shit out and not being a fucking lapdog to Dorit and Kyle when they're talking shit about Sutton.
Mm-hmm.
I know Sutton has her own issues. I am working through that in post. But like, yeah, Crystal was like, don't deny you talk shit. I literally saw you talk shit, Anyway, I liked that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's all so vague. Health and happiness, my voice matters.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, what are you fucking talking about?
I hear
Erica's proud she showed up for herself. Okay.
My God. The lack of reality. I'm okay. I knew I was going to, I landed on my feet. I'm okay.
You are now, but I mean, say it every single time it's not over.
It's not over.
So she seems to think this chapter is closed, but the courts have other things to say. So
yeah,
I hope you're right. But
yeah,
I don't think she's done yet.
No, she's not. Kathy is happy to be there for Kyle and respects the cast.
Yeah, I thought that was nice. I thought that her saying that there's a real sisterhood here and I respect that. I thought that was nice.
Okay.
That's fine. Again, everything's
fine.
Fine. And
it's
then
fine.
This again, God bless Dorit, Dirty Foot.
Oh my God.
She has a false start. And then Andy full mouth yawns in her face. And that made me laugh really hard. And then she sort of obtusely calls Garcelle a snake. And I hated that, saying, I have to be a little less naive when I think someone is my friend or something to that effect. And Andy was like, you're talking about Garcelle, right? And she was like, I am. And I was just like, well, fuck off. You missed.
I said fuck off too.
Yeah,
I said fuck off too. I mean, there's no fucking hope for Dorit Kemsley.
It
There's no fucking hope for her. There's no hope. Oh God. Oh, I'm mad. Ooh, my chest got tight.
And if Garcelle was there, she wouldn't have said it at all or in that way. So she took liberties, which is lazy and cowardly. And yeah, I leave with as much respect for Dorit as I came into the season, which is none. So
none. 0.0
and then we end on Kyle.
Respect for Dorit Kemsley. 0.0.
And Kyle said, which I thought was like sad but hopeful. She said, "Well, I may have lost what I thought was my happily ever after. I'm strong and I will have my happily ever after no matter what." And I was like,
Mhm.
that sounds like a closing page of a children's book. And that one didn't bother me as much. I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah. And that's it. That's all
Oh, we're
they wrote
done.
on season 13. Margie and I talked about bringing it all back home to where we started. And even though Vanderpump Rules has already, been airing, you want to pick that up and just
If you're
continue
into
with
it,
where I'm
I'm
into it.
into
I'm
it.
into it.
So,
Sure.
and it
Yeah,
looks, I think I sent you the mid-season trailer and I was
you
like, oh
did.
my God.
Okay.
And it looks like
Okay.
there's going to be some crossover with the Valley, and that looks like a shit show. So,
Oh God, it looks like a shit show. Speaking of shit
yeah.
shows, what else did you watch this week?
Oh, thanks for asking. I did watch Vanderpump Rules. I watched The Bachelor. I'm
Dude.
I'm just laughing because the first date where I love Rachel, I've said from the beginning she was like a
Yeah.
top pick, but she slammed her face into the water of like a cenote, and I was like, oh, it's over for her. Like the universe is speaking. It's not even about Joey anymore. It's just like the powers that be are conspiring for this not to go your way, honey.
You
And like
think
it broke
so?
my
Oh
yes,
God.
because he didn't
Oh.
seem like, I don't know. They just don't seem like a match, and I think they both know it. And you know, her having that as the start of their final date together was just like, yeah, I don't know.
She's great. I love
She's
her.
adorable. I love her.
I
She's
love her.
beautiful, but they're
Mm-hmm.
not for each other. And that's fine because she's
Oh,
20. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I'm wondering if this is going to be a Sean Lowe and Catherine Giudice. God, is that her last name?
I don't think so.
Catherine.
Is it?
Catherine. Yeah, it was
Geodice?
no, not Geodice, but I think that it was something Italian.
Okay.
And they're married now. And so she was like, no one saw that engagement coming. So I'm wondering if it's been edited so that we don't think that Rachel wins, or if just like it's plain. I just don't trust shit on this show. You
You're
know what I
so
mean? I
right.
don't
And
trust anything.
I have
But
fallen for the sneaky edit pretty much every season. So I could
yeah,
be way off the mark here,
yeah.
but
Um, I really love Kelsey. I think I love Kelsey so much because she reminds me of my niece so much.
hmm.
Their mannerisms, their face, just if Kelsey was a full redhead, you know, she just I sent a little clip to my sister too. I'm like, does she not remind you of your daughter? And she's like, I can see what you're saying. So, and I just think she's sweet. Daisy learned this on Reddit yesterday. Prepare yourself. Again, this should come as no surprise to me, to you, to anyone that watches this show. She is a Trumper. She's a Trumper.
Like a
Yep.
full blown? She's so
Yeah,
young.
like
Could she even vote in the last
she
election? Like,
liked
Jesus.
anti-vax. Reddit loves to, like, they're going to uncover shit. And if you have any fucking secrets or if you've liked anything quasi-problematic, they're going to screenshot that and they're going to make a post.
Wait, but
And that's
anti-vax is different than Trump.
no, but she
I'm
also
opposed
follows
to
Trump,
both,
and then
but like, oh, she does. Okay.
she liked a you know what? I
Ugh.
meant to write this down and put it in the show notes. So I'll post the link. If anyone's interested, I'll post the link to that. If the post is still up, I'll post the link so that
I
people
mean, I
can read
guess
it.
what did I think? She lives on a Christmas tree farm and you know what I mean? Like, obviously.
Right. Right. And that's what some people were saying in the comments. They're like, did you see her friends? Like, what did you think? And I was like,
Yeah,
oh, I don't know. I didn't get that vibe. But again, I was focusing on the Christmas trees
I know.
versus
The people.
how the people. But yeah. Okay. Let's see. Include post about Daisy. Yeah. Anything else? Did you watch anything else?
I watched Love is Blind, and it just in
Mhm.
terms of like what our podcast focus on, Are you open to a spoiler or not so much?
God,
No,
I
we can talk
don't
about it
think I
later.
am.
Okay,
But
we'll talk about it later.
you know what? If you want to talk about it though,
No, no, no.
but I have to edit you because I was like, I'll take my headphones off and I won't listen
I'm
to you.
absolutely not going to do a monologue about Love is Blind, but
Oh my
there's
God.
just stuff in this season that is really pertinent to what we talk about. Lots of discussion of therapy and when and how you discover you need it and what you do when you think you need therapy more than you are, whatever. Anyways, it's just, there's a lot of therapy talk and it's really healing. And the reunion was last night and I was like really
Oh my
interested to
God.
hear what these young people are saying about breaking the cycles in their own families. And
Oh, I love that.
yeah, it was
I
really,
love that.
really interesting. So anyways, how about you? What else did you watch?
Yeah, I only got through, I think, 2 or 3 episodes of Love is Blind. And I feel like the last person on the planet that hasn't, okay, in this country, fine. You know, I feel like one of the last people to actually watch and finish it. So I need to do that this weekend because I'm actually intrigued by this cast for some reason. They seem really, now this is an LA cast, right? Is this an
No, I
LA
think they're in
cast?
North Carolina or
Oh,
something.
they are?
I
Okay.
think so.
Um, Yeah, I think I mean I'm riveted so far. So I really like it. And then let's see, I caught up on Miami. Wait, do I have a little bit of the Miami reunion left or one segment left? I cannot get over how each and every one of them, Alexia doesn't come to mind right now, but all the other ones do. I block her out though intentionally. They all looked so fucking stunning. Larsa Larsa was stunning, and I don't share an affinity for Larsa's aesthetic, but she looked beautiful. Adriana looked beautiful. Dr. Nicole. I mean, they all, oh my God,
Just all like
Gertie,
no holds barred reunion looks. And Gertie
completely.
had a Dorit hood on, but then took it off for the like she did that look right, you know? I was like, Dorit, take notes. Like, and
And
also,
yeah,
yeah, Gertie's on the other side of cancer treatment. So the reveal of a bald head is like a
yes.
beautiful, exciting thing. It has meaning. It's not just like Dorit getting sewn into her costume and keeping everyone waiting, like
Oh my
so she could get
God.
her bangs straight on her forehead.
And she's not gonna go back to wigs. She's gonna keep shaving her head. And I fucking love Gertie, dude. I love Gertie. I love Gertie and Dr. Nicole's relationship.
Yeah.
I really do. Yeah. So I'm not sure if I'm done with that or not, but they all looked just, I just liked looking at them. They were
It was a
beautiful.
feast.
It was a feast. Okay. So Miami. Oh, I finally watched last week's episode of Vanderpump. Oh, it's such a fucking slog. I don't give a shit about, like, listen, the mid-season trailer fully can get on board, but watching James and this dog that has been rehomed 50 times, that makes me real anxious. The fact that Allie is with him, that makes me anxious. Um, Sheena and Brock make me anxious. Like, I'm not getting joy from watching these first few episodes. So it's almost like I'm that dog that knows it's going to go to the vet. It's all, no, 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 you know? Um, but like I'll relent and I'll continue watching. And you're right. Like I do think that the mid-season trailer looked riveting for the rest of the season. I mean, they have to have it like that, or it's like
Well, and
why?
we can reconsider if it feels like a drag, there's plenty of other programming on Bravo,
True,
so we can
true.
revisit that. Yeah, I just
But
saw that mid-season trailer and was like, is this our next? Because
yeah,
whoa.
the mid-season trailer looks good. I think people are agreeing on that. But I don't, and so I haven't even watched this week's yet because I finally got through last week's. Um, what else? Watched movies to try to catch up with the Oscars, watch the Oscars, and I watched a bunch of basketball. So, you know, love me some basketball.
'Tis the season. We're in
'Tis the
it.
season. It's wrapping up though, and
I know.
I don't know if my boys are going to make the playoffs, and that really bums me the fuck out. But I know they're gonna. They'll pull it out. They'll pull it out. But it's real fun. I love watching basketball. Oh my God, it's
Yeah.
like my favorite.
And this is,
Um,
yeah, the best time of year. because I love college sports. So we're
Yes, you love college sports.
in
And
March
I have
Madness.
actually, I need to start watching more because I realize how important it is to see where these players, like, I would have loved to have seen Austin Reeves play. I mean, I'm sure I can go on YouTube and, pull up his games or whatever, but to see like the rookies that are going to be coming in to see how they played in college, that seems really interesting to me now. And for some reason, I just had a block against the fact that, yeah, that's the factory that puts out the pro NBA players. It is March Madness. It
Sort
is.
of, but it's different with like football and basketball because basketball, you only have to do 1 year of college, I think, to qualify for the NBA draft. So turnover on basketball teams it's why like Michigan was like number one a year ago or 2 years ago. And now they're not even like in the top 25. So it's different.
I
They
did not know
rotate
that.
through much faster, but that's why the tournament is really fun to watch because it whittles down to the best players and you get to see them showcased because it's one and done. The tournament is like you get one shot at playing and you're either in or you're out from there on. And I find it thrilling. I just love it. And it's
Are
great
those
to
the
see.
seeds?
Yes. Uh-huh.
The hell?
The
Why is
bracket.
it called a fucking seed? I get a bracket, I get a tournament, I get, but a seed, and I get the big dance. I get Cinderella. Like I understand all that, but a seed,
I don't know.
I
And it
don't
has
either.
literally the worst song, the worst like champion song ever on the face of the earth, March Madness.
It
So,
does.
it's just the worst.
I don't know.
It's such a bummer. It's like this huge buildup for weeks of this tournament, and everyone's so invested. And then when they play the song at the end, I'm not going to sing it, but anyways, look it up
Okay.
if you need to hear it. It's a drag.
Okay.
But yeah, peak basketball season, good time of year.
What was your antidepressant this week?
My antidepressant was something else before we got on ahead of this recording because I'm just so grateful for my friendship with you and like your willingness to sit with me as I figure out how to articulate what's going on with me, sit in the feelings around the truth of what's going on with me. And, like I I sat down all wound up and tense and gripping on to my day. And then after talking to you for a little bit, having a cry and feeling seen and heard and understood and loved and supported, I have a whole new outlook on the rest of this day. And that is you are my antidepressant, like without a doubt. So I mean, I don't even know how to say thank you enough. I love
Um,
you. Thank
I
you.
love you too, and it's so funny because you're my antidepressant this week.
Aw.
You're totally mine. I, yeah, our check-in before we started recording, I, you know, after we chatted, bared our souls respectively, I felt light. I felt light, like a sprightly puppy, and having you love me and accept me unconditionally without any judgment and just showing up with love and honesty, maybe tough love, maybe what I don't want to hear, but like I I love you so much and I don't know what I would do walking this lifetime without you. I just don't know what I would do.
I
Ooh,
feel the exact
you
same
know?
way. And I mean, and there's no reason that we ever should have met. And like, it's one of those, I
Yeah,
occasionally have these moments where I'm like, ooh, life is mystical, isn't she?
it
It's
is
just
the
like,
most
how the fuck did
mystical. Good
we
Lord.
wind up with like the same eating disorder and find our way to the same gross room where that gross, stinky ass meeting was held? How did we decide to talk to each other? I was so shy. I didn't talk to anyone when I first moved here. Like, what the fuck happened? I don't know how it happened, but here we are like 25 years later and like I am I feel like, I've been shaped by you, like
I
just
feel the same
the
way.
safest place to be myself and or figure out who I am when myself is changing. So
Oh my God, yes. And I know if you love me, I must be lovable.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I know if you love me, I must be lovable, And I am your biggest fucking fan, dude. I am your biggest fucking fan.
Likewise. And, if if the end game is for me to see myself through your eyes, like, I don't know when that day would ever come, but like, I feel seen in a way that I cannot see myself when I talk to you and tell
Absolutely.
the truth to you. And,
Yep. Yep.
everything
Oh,
that feels
God.
shameful or impossible feels fine, human, and solvable after a conversation with you.
That's
So
exactly
that's what
how I
happened this
feel.
morning. And I am so grateful. And you can see my mascara that's run under my eyeballs
Hardly,
but
but
it's
yes.
fine. It's like,
Yeah.
what a gift that I can talk to someone and immediately you said, "How are you?" And I just was like, boom, immediate burst into tears. Here's everything.
Same.
And then it's over.
Same.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm so eternally grateful. And it's, you know, situations like this that make me believe that I am being taken care of by something greater than me,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Uh, because who gets this? Like, yeah, I don't have fucking Kathy Hilton money. I don't give a flying fuck. I have this.
I want
And
both.
this
There,
is
I said
priceless.
it.
Okay, you know
Whoever's
what?
taking care of us, are you
No.
listening? Can I have
Yeah,
a bag? And also,
yes. No,
um,
you know what? You're absolutely right. You're
no,
absolutely right.
but I wouldn't trade. I wouldn't trade it if someone said,
No.
like, here's a bag of untraceable $7 million in cash, but you can never talk to Ramona again. Keep it. Keep your
Yeah,
cash.
dude. Seriously. God, but I'd want you to be happy though.
I would not be happy having $7 million being alone. Well, that's stupid.
Okay. All right.
I'll find my way to make my $7 million. I'm capable of
Yeah.
that. And I have,
Yeah,
hopefully
you
I have
are.
more time on this planet and
You do.
can
You
get
do.
there.
You do. Yes. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us as we broke down how the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills affects my friend and I, uh, you know, uh, on a level that we've had to shell out money to, get help us process.
Yes.
That was a weird way of saying that,
No,
but
it's 13 seasons of like getting a
yeah,
look at what I need to take into my therapy sessions on a weekly
seriously,
basis. So thank you,
seriously.
housewives.
Always. Thank you, Housewives. Please rate, review, subscribe. You can find us on Instagram at A Therapeutic Dose. You can email us at atherapeuticdose@gmail.com. I already said rate, review, and subscribe, but I'm going to say rate, review, and subscribe. Pass it on to your friends. Welcome to our new listeners. It's so nice when I share the podcast and I get like these sweet texts back, like, "Oh my God, I love it so much." It's like, oh, because we're just talking about what we normally talk about. These conversations that we have about these people, we have them, when we're not recording this.
This is
This
what we
is
would talk
real.
about at the Starbucks on Western and Hollywood back in the
Exactly.
day.
Yes,
It's just,
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Well, friend, I love you
I
so
love you
much, like
too.
an unquantifiable amount. And listeners, we love you too. Everybody, please, please, please take good care of yourself. Just try to love yourself. Life is some mean blows sometimes, and just try to have some compassion for yourself. I will take that advice myself.
Yes. And in the hard times, as Mr. Rogers would say, look for the helpers. And that you are
Yes.
mine. So I found you
Oh, yes,
and
I
I'm
found
using you
you.
and
Oh,
I'm
God, use
lucky for
away.
it.
Me too.
Um, well, thank you everybody for listening, and we will talk again next week.
Yeah, we'll talk again next week.
All right,
Bye.
bye.